Divine greetings, entities, energies, lovelies, bodies of light, seekers and sojourners of truth, the 144, chosen of the chosen of the chosen few. You know who you are. I greet you in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I'm Akila Textry in the divine essence energy of it all, as usual, reporting to you live from 5D, the fifth dimension. Now, you got to excuse me because I don't know what it is this evening, but all the little bugs out here, they got me swatting like I'm in a third world country. So you're going to see me doing all of this. You may see them fly across the screen. I don't know if it's the light, whatever it is. See, one just went by. They just out here right now. So me and the bugs out here reporting to you live from 5D, right? Everything is one. So give way to all life. With that said, I want to catch up with you guys coming out of the vortex. Hello, yesterday was the vortex, the 420 to 429. For those of us who were in it, the 10 days of new beginnings. It's whenever I see 10 days in a vortex, it's always like representing new beginnings, a cushion for new beginnings, right? 10 meaning the one, from the one and the zeros, the one, starting something new. So with all that we've come through, with what was even engaging with us, the energies that were engaging with us as we were in this vortex, like I can't make this up. It's no coincidence, right? We've had the eclipse prior to this, right? The ecliptic energy. Prior to the eclipse, we had the cosmic shift of Pluto going into Aquarius with the sun. That was the first kind of bang bang for the year. Then we had the eclipse, and then we had this 420, which everybody know 420 smoke day, but what else was going up in smoke was us entering into this vortex, right? See the bugs coming, as well as not just the 420 enter into the vortex, but also on 420 was the great conjunction. I'm going to call it the great conjunction, but it was really just another great cosmic shift. But it was the conjunction between the Jupiter and Uranus. There we go. Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. I'm always getting ready to call it the Taurus conjunction because they conjunct in Taurus. So we had all of this energy going on at the start of it, 420, right? And then for the next 9 days. So it's like that jumped us in to this vortex, or helped us in. And on the 23rd, we had the full moon in Scorpio inviting us to go deep. And then we also had the 4-4 portal, the 2424 portal, which I also call the 6-6 portal, right? So, and I did videos on that, talking about that. But now, yesterday was the 29th, so that is us closing out the vortex. So how was that for you? How was that for any of us? And as the theme of it was 12. Now, I have had the question of why does it equal 12? So I'm going to go a little bit into that as we're talking about this closing out of the vortex, as well as how the relevance of it is how it helps us evolve our souls. How does it help us in our soul evolution when we hit these vortex, or these, as I call it, the energetic hotspots, are the portals in the vortex. So how did this help us evolve to the next level? That's how it's relevant, is because it helps us into our soul's evolution. With that said, let's go into looking at the 12. So as I was asked, what was the relevance of 12? Like, how did I see the 12 of the theme? Well, first off, on the first day, when you count those days, which would be 4, 20, 24, right? When you count those numbers, those digits in that day, it is going to give you 12. So coming into it, it already starts with 12. When you reduce that 12, you get 3. Right? So that was the codes we were going by. The reduced numbers of those days were our dimensional days. For those of you who remember, those were the codes of that day. So that code of that day was that dimensional day. But before you reduced it, you got 12. So immediately I saw 12 and was like, we start out with 12. So there's the theme. That's what was like screaming loud to me. The theme, cyclical. It's coming to show us 12. The cyclical completion, right? A spiritual completion is 9. A cyclical completion is 12, which is inclusive of the 9, plus you have 3 more, which I call the respirating time or the respirating days, the respirating minutes, however you want to look at it. That 9 plus 3 is always going to be the 3 is that respirating, right? So we apply that to our completion. This is completion within completion within completion, if you look at it, right? Because 3 is a creative completion. 6 is also a type of completion, but it's more of a pass through within the completion of the 9. It's kind of like the middle point. This is why you have the 3, 6, 9, right? They're all important portals and gates. So then you have the 9, which is a completion, and then you have the 12, which is the cyclical completion. And that cyclical completion, and this is where it may get a little confusing as I explain this, the cyclical completion is also, it layers. It's like it layers and it overlaps into the next completion of 9, because the dimensions always go through the numbers 9, 1 through 9, and back again. And you go again, 1 through 9, and you keep going and you keep going. So this is where I said, if you have the 10th dimension, it is really the first dimension on the next cycle of 9, on the next cycle of 9 dimensions, right? Because 9 is always the number. For those of you who know, it's like the infinite number. It keeps going. It's infinite, but it always goes like in a pattern of 9, if I can explain it that way. So the next pattern of 9, or cycle of 9, the 12 will overlap into that, and that is the 1, 2, 3. So if we count 1 through 9, let's say we starting at this first loop right here, the 1 through 9, if we count on that, then when you continue and you go to 10, 11, 12, let's first go with me 1 through 9. That's one set of the first dimension of 1 through 9, right? Once you do that, you're going to then loop up, take your evolution up. You're going to loop up to the next cycle, ready to go through the next 1 through 9. But now that's, let's say you keep counting from 9, you're going to go 10, 11, let me go up 10, 11, 12, which is what overlaps into the next 9. And so that 12, it's really evasive. It's really invisible, not evasive. I wanted to say like kind of elusive, not evasive, more elusive. It's invisible. Let's use that word. So it's that invisible aspect of the next level. So it's 10, 11, 12. That taps into the next 9, right? So by the time you come out of that 12, that 1, 2, 3, which is 10, 11, 12, by the time you come out of that, it is the 3rd dimension of the next level. And this is where things show up, right? This is where where are these animals coming out now? Like, I got the frog, I got the lizard, we got the reptilians, we got the bugs. Like, it's a lot going on in this little corner right here. Like, they want piece of the infinite action. Y'all got something to say to the people? So this 12, if you look at it, this 12 overlaps into the next loop of 9. 10, 11, 12, which it would be 1, 2, 3 of that next 9. And you don't actually see anything until you get through the 3, right? So this points to, if we look at, like, for me, this is how this vortex really explained this 12 to me. And now I see this overlapping of the 12, because we started with 3. Although it was a 12, when it reduced to 3, which shows me what? When things start at the beginning of things, we will see things through 3, through the 3rd dimension, through what? The first important gate, as I've mentioned before in another video, that the 3 major gates are 3, 6, 9, are the 3 major portal gates within the 9 dimensions. We don't see anything until the 3rd dimension. If you look at even the way the world was formed, you have the 1st dimension, the 2nd dimension, when the earth was 2D, which was just minerals and plants and whatever. It had not yet sprung forth the next level of life, which would be 3D. This would be the 3rd dimension, which is creation, which is the animation of life force, the animated existence of life force energy. We don't see that until the 3rd dimension. So this is to say, right, that the 1 and the 2 we usually don't really see, right? We don't see it until we come in through the 3rd dimension. And that's where you begin to see the next level. So I say that to say this. the 1 through 9 on the first level happens, and when you go to the next level, 10, 11, 12, or 1, 2, 3, that third dimension is when you start to see things, right? However those things come through, it's when you start to allow things to be visible. Me and this frog right here, this fertility over here, right? This is when, and this is another thing, that's probably another message it wants to illustrate, is fertility. For those of you who saw the other night when I had to jump out of the chair because one was really leaping, and this one keeps coming up now, and it's like wants to show this the relevance of fertility. So in this cycle, I don't know who this is for, but there's some fertility going on, whether it's literal fertility or it is the fertility of new ideas, new beginnings. Remember, this was a new beginnings vortex. So there are things that are coming through. There's something that is very fertile. Fertility is happening, whether it's in ideas, whether it's just in the mental, physical, spiritual, however it's to come about, there's that fertility there. So message in this interlapping, this interweaving that we're talking about between the dimensions, between time space, within our time space reality, this is what we're seeing that, you know, comes out of this. So the relevance, as I say this, because I know I'm giving this information about the 9 and the 12, and us seeing the respiriting of 1, 2, 3, and, you know, check it out for yourself. You'll see where within the 12 there's always this 9 plus the 3, right? Whether it's 12 the time on the clock, 12 hours on the clock, 12 months, however you want to look at it, there's the 9 of completion plus the 3. How is this relevant to us right now is how we are exercising this energy, how it's coming forth for us, what is showing up that is new for us, what is coming out of the cycle for us, what has been cyclical, a cyclical completion. So which means we would have evolved. There's the full cycle, 360, but not 360 standing still, 360 and evolving up, right? So when you do that full 9, that full loop, that 360 right there, which is still the 9. When you look at 360, right, the 3 and the 6 equals 9. So there you go. Again, that full circle is a 9. So however we loop up. So the evolution is kind of like Jacob's ladder, for those who know. When he said, I saw angels ascending and descending, there's this, you're cycling up. So this is relevant to those of us who are on our soul evolving journey, and we're evolving and in our soul's work. So this hot spot, there we go. These hot spots are an opportunity for us to loop up. There should be some kind of, in this full cycle, some of us may have quantum leaped, time leaped, pushed time, shifted in some way. You may feel a shift, and you may feel it in ways that you may recognize, you may not recognize. It depends on how you look at it, what's going on in your life. Some of us needed to shift, but we haven't quite let go. And so look at what things have been coming up for you. Look at what how your body has even been responding. I can say personally for me, yesterday I had a massive headache all day. That's why I didn't get on yesterday and do the, you know, hey, closing out on the 29th. I wanted to do it, but it was a massive headache. And I don't usually get headaches. And usually headaches, for those who understand like the chakras, it's for the third eye. Usually when you have a headache, depending on where in your head you're having this ache, usually it's the third eye or the crown. For me, it was more in this area all the way around, especially behind the eyes, anything that had to do with visual. And I'm pretty sharp in my third eye. For those who know, my third eye is always on 10. So for me to be having that, and I had to pay attention, it means that, and I'm going to say this for anyone, whoever this is for, when you're getting these tensions, these headaches in these areas, especially anywhere with the third eye, it means that there is something that you are not seeing, or there is something that you do see, but you are not responding to appropriately or correctively. There's something that you're not, it's like you're turning a blind eye. It's like, I see it, but I'm not having the response that shows that I see it, right? I'm not behaving accordingly, right? So the character, our character has to change. So as I say behaving, that reminds me there's something there that we need to shift within this full completion. we would have, could have, should have seen where there needs to be a change in our behavior, in our patterns, in our habits. Your habits make your behaviors, and your behaviors create your character. And I'm going to get back to that, because that was a message I got out of a dream about good character. Right, it's not too much of a message, but I know that it's very important. It's saying good character and how we're starting out. So whatever it is that we're starting, whatever we're coming into, there has to be good character, which means it's telling me that our behavior has to change, which tells me there's a habit that has to change. So when we get these hot pockets, these new beginning cushion vortex, it's given us an opportunity to fine tune something, to fine tune, tune in, to tune up. And especially when you have a theme like this that is about the cyclical completion, the 9, the complete cycle, the dimensional 9. And we saw that dimensional 9 in the dates that we had adding up, right? The numbers, as the first number started with 3, the reduced number, and then the last one ended in 3, because we had 10 days. So with the 10 days and starting at 3, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That puts you at 7 days. We had 3 more days in the vortex, and it was what? 1, 2, 3. Because after the 9, you're always going to get 1, 2, 3. Right? So when you get that 1, 2, 3, that was and as I say that closes out the reminder of the 12 for me. It solidified and it confirmed. See, there's 12. There's the 9 plus the 3, and there's a 12. And one of the questions I got, well, where was the 1 and 2 in the beginning? You know, so it's like that's missing, and it's like, no, it's not. It's inclusive of the 3, and I mentioned that before in the video. So just as I said earlier, the 1, 2, 3, you don't see the 1, you don't see the 2, right? Which the 1 usually represents illumination, and the 2 usually represents faith if we're manifesting. You don't usually see that. That's the very invisible aspect. The one-dimensional, two-dimensional aspect is very invisible. So it's really inclusive of the 3. So we started that first day on that 3, knowing that the 1 and 2 is inclusive, if that makes sense. And then you have the rest of the days, 3 through 9, right? Counting up to 9, and at the end of that 1, 2, 3, which is reminding us of what? The cyclical completion of 12 that has 9 plus 3, right? And again, that 1, 2, 3 is to tell you to loop up on the next level, 1, 2, 3 of the next cycle of 9, which again, it's interwoven, because you can't see the first and second dimensional aspect of the next level. You can't see into the third one. So that respiriting, that 12 is lapped up or looped up on the next one. I know it sounds confusing. I know, because it is to me, even as I'm saying it to you. I wish I could just draw all of this for you. And if I could, I would draw the tree of life. If anyone wants to get a picture of what I'm looking at, just kind of look at the tree of life, because none of this is linear, right? This is very interwoven, like the tree of life. It's like a circle, a loop within a loop within a loop, a cycle within a cycle, world within world. So that is the infiniteness of it, and that is the tree of life. Like you'll see a circle here, and they overloop, and they loop, they overlap and loop, overloop, they loop and they overlap, and in between. So it's the interweaving of the tapestry of the divine design, if that makes sense. And so just see how it applies to you, and how you can see the cyclical nature within your life. Even if you don't understand the breakdown the way that I am saying it, it is just simply to know that the 12 is that cyclical completion. How did I, and how can I apply that 12 in my life, world, and affairs? How did I apply this through the 10 days of this new beginnings vortex that we were in? What stood out for us? What changed for us? And as I said, if you found yourself having physical ailments, there's something in us that needed to shift, that we may have been, you know, tug-of-warring with. You know, for me, like I said, I see things. However, I wasn't as vigilant as doing and having the response that needed to show. Remember, behaviors. It's not just knowing what we know. Our habits need to change. So if you felt some kind of tug of war, this is what I have to share with us. If you had some kind of tug of war with it, then there is a behavior that needed to change. There's a habit that needed to change. So look at what habits needed to change, and look at what area, wherever you had that ailment. Like example, use me for example, it was the third eye, which I know I'm good in my third eye, but that means that there's something in that area that I need to change a habit. I see things, but I also need to respond to them correctly in the way I deal with others. As me of myself, I have no problem. But when you live in a world with others, and we have to be mindful, especially as I have been with the eclipse season, and being able to understand as we're going for our soul's sovereignty, having the balance and the harmony of still being considerate of the collective, having collective compassion for the collective. So there also has to be that understanding, and that sometimes gets me, as it may tug at my heart a little bit, and have me not, and this is within myself, right? Have me not respond. These bugs have me not respond the way that I should, according to spirit, with conviction, with a certain type of authority. There we go. Because remember, for those of you, when I did the eclipse, when I talked about that in our soul sovereignty, it was also about us tapping into our authority, right? And the authenticity of our authority. And authority is walking in that Christ mind, in that Christ consciousness, just as Christ would. No respecter of person. And if something needs to be said to someone, knowing that you operate with integrity, so you don't have to hold back or tippy toe or avoid even the necessary conversations that need to be had, or the necessary actions that need to be had, or the lack thereof. There may be some things that we need to not be doing anymore. Maybe we are enabling others, and we have been enabling others, and now it's a time in this full cycle, it's saying stop. It's saying no more enabling. You can't do that thing that continues to enable that person. So please look at what that may be for you, because you may not look at it as enabling. You may look at it as, this is my job. This is what I have to do. And these are the stories that we have told ourselves. But now it's time in the new beginnings, if we're truly to get what we need to get out of this. And I'm especially speaking to people who may have had some kind of ailment or attack, kind of like me, because this was like a serious mental attack for me yesterday. I don't experience headaches, and especially to that degree. So if you found yourself kind of battling with some type of ailment, especially if it's something you normally don't have, consider that a little tap from the universe. Tap, tap, tap. I'm gonna need you to look what we needed to get out of this vortex. You went into this vortex, especially when we do things with intentions. You went into this vortex with an intention, with a purpose, knowing this was a cycle, a full cycle, cyclical completion, right? Which is inclusive of the 3, 6, 9, right? Of the 9, the infinite number of 9, right? So being inclusive of that, knowing that there is something that we are to cycle and loop up, cycle up and out, evolve to the next level. So it's asking for our evolutionary process for us to step into that. So we're being called into that. Some of us may be even pushed into that. Look at what that is for you and apply yourself. It's never too late. If you look and you say, well, dang, I didn't do that. That's okay. It's never too late. Pick yourself up. Look at where you need to adjust. It's about adaptability and adjusting yourself so you can, you know, acclimate into your new timeline, so you could fit in easy without having headaches or back aches or whatever ache you may be having. I call that ascension symptoms. Sometimes we have some ascension symptoms, and that means that we're either being stubborn, we're not doing what we need to do, even though we see it, or we don't see it and we're just, you know, the body is feeling it in this way because the mind is being shown some things. You see some things, right? You either see it consciously or you're being shown it. Even if you don't see it consciously, something is opening up for you and tapping on your conscious window, tapping on your third eye, saying, hey, 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 like Fat Albert, All right. So with that, I wanted to at least share that information with you, with us, so we can kind of see what's happening in the evolution of our soul. Who jumped into this hot spot, and what did you get out of it? Did it resonate with you? Did you see your new beginnings? And are you ready to bring forth, as the frog is over here showing, fertility, new life, new ideas, new earth? It's the birth of the new earth in you, in your consciousness. Again, welcome to 5D, right? It ain't easy. It ain't pretty. It ain't easy, but it is, depending on how we are holding on to some things and the choices that we make, right? The choice in our voice, which I want to speak on about our throat chakra some more, but that's for another time. So with that, faithfully, you have enjoyed your 10 days. You have enjoyed getting something out of your cycle, your new beginnings that had the theme of 12 as a cyclical completion, with all the little completions in between within it, right? So see what you got from that. And with that said, look out for the next portal and the next vortex. I'll let you know if one pops up and shows up for us. Oh, and just to let you all know, I found a meditation that went with these portals. I'll see if I can find it and post it in the link. I thought it was just neat to know. I didn't find it till the end, but there was someone who was actually making meditations for each day of being in this palindrome vortex from the 20th to the 29th. And I thought that was neat. So see if you can look it up. I'll see if I can find one and tag it in here and let you know. I thought that was neat and unique, and who knows, maybe next time I can have one ready for us. So with that said, each one, reach one, teach one. If you don't know where to start, start in your big, beautiful heart. Shine your light from the inside out and be the candle that lights the next one and the next one and the next one. Palindrome, portal, vortex, out. Peace, love, and light.